I felt like it was time to return to Overwatch and decided to make the character that everyone wants on their team, but few people want to play. Mercy. So at this point I've gone through the usual steps I take when making a sculpture like this a number of times, so I thought I'd focus more on the specific things I went through while making this sculpture in this video, and I will probably keep doing that in the future too. Something that I've noticed happens when making a sculpture from scratch to a finished product is that it never really turns out looking exactly like you visualized it in your head or on paper. Now of course it will never look exactly like in your mind, however hard you try, but what I want to say is that the fact that some parts don't turn out as planned isn't necessarily always a bad thing. If you make a small mistake and it ends up looking good, I think you should stick with it. The result won't be the same as your initial idea, but that's how the sculpture takes on a life of its own, and you discover new ways to do things. This might just be something that happens to me, since I haven't been doing this for very long, but I think that there's some truth to it. When I decided to make Mercy, I immediately knew that I wanted to do her resurrection pose. I feel like that in-game ability is a very big part of her character. I like to add some body parts temporarily to give an idea of how the final pose will look and to make sure that I know what I'm working towards. One thing I wanted to try for this sculpture was to divide it into different parts that I worked with separately. For example, you will see me hardening the torso and the legs of the sculpture, while leaving the arms and head out for later. This method minimizes the risk of accidentally messing up what you have done so far. So at this point I started working on the arms, but I figured that it was a better idea to finish the face before making them, since they would have just been in the way while sculpting the face otherwise. This was actually the first time I sculpted a human face. You might have noticed that I've only picked masked humans for my sculptures until now. Or you might not have, and I just told you my little secret. The reason I've put it off until now is quite simple. The facial anatomy is very complex and hard to make look good on such a small scale. And on a big scale too, for that matter. I'm not unhappy with my result, but when you judge it, please have some mercy. The wings are part plastic and part clay. I made a lot of small parts separately, that I glued on later. I tried to make her crown out of clay at first, but after a lot of trial and error I ended up cutting it out of transparent thermoplastic that I shaped. Since the clay I use is grey and a big part of this sculpture was to be painted white, I had to paint a lot of layers to get the grey color not to show through. In the future I'm considering spray painting the whole sculpture white first, and then adding the other colors since the grey tone is so difficult to get rid of. Finally, I glued on all the smaller parts and the wings and the staff. Please tell me what you think and suggest what I can make next in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.